Hey, everybody, welcome to our free webinar today on critical contract mistakes and the secrets to writing contracts. They're going to help you and your clients feel safe and comfortable. So glad you guys are here, and hello to folks on the recording. So I do like to kind of get real when we talk about this stuff. So how many of you have contracts between you and your clients?
But we proceed at our own risk. I mean, the adage is don't fight the Fed.
You can drop it in the chat or shout it out.
I'm just starting having listened to your former course, so I'm going to be developing my contracts.
Oh, very good. Very good. Well, you got to start somewhere.
I'm totally starting fresh with the work I'm building of working with people with dementia and the people who love them.
Oh, there you go. Very good.
Fresh.
And so it looks like in the chat we have a yes and yes, but not sure if they're good enough. It sounds like, Robin. Well, that's all right. That's what we're here to talk about. Kim, starting new. Very good. You got to start somewhere, right? You build a house brick by brick. You build the legal part of your business piece by piece, and do it as you go. You don't need a perfect legal foundation before you do business and help people. You kind of do it on a parallel track. Build your business, build the legal stuff, build your following, do it all at the same time. Otherwise, you'll never get anything done. And what are some of the negative words and feelings that come up when you guys think about contracts?
Picky.
Picky,
Yeah.
getting
Tricky.
sued. Yeah.
Offsetting legalese.
Oh, yeah, legalese, right? Eye strain, yeah. Necessary but tedious. Oh, yeah, if you're in a bad one, too binding, right? It can be tough, especially if it's something that's very one-sided that we've gotten ourselves into, which is why I try and help folks not be so one-sided with everything. So mistake number one kind of goes to my first question I was talking about there about do you have a contract? And it's a bit of a trick question for a lot of us, because if we have paying clients, then we have a contract with them, whether we know it or not. It may or may not be in writing. It may or may not be complete. It may or may not have everything that you need or that your clients need in it. But the threshold for creating a binding and valid legal contract is very low. So if you are performing services and charging for them, you have a contract, even if it's just verbal, even if it's an email back and forth, even if it's a handshake agreement. Nothing has to be in writing. It doesn't have to be that detailed to create a binding contract. So as long as we're creating these contracts without knowing it, let's be intentional about it, is the point, that I want to make. We have these things anyway. Let's go ahead and be intentional about it, as long as we're making agreements with people. And then I'd love to hear you guys shout out or drop in the chat, what are some words or phrases that are basically just synonym for a contract? Because ultimately what you title the document is not that important. Yeah, agreement. What other kinds of words and phrases do you guys think basically just mean legal contract? Yeah, legal agreement. Other things that we use commonly are like consent form, or informed consent. What about terms and conditions, terms of use, even calling things waivers and disclaimers? These are all just different terms for legal contract, right? So the point is to make sure you have it written down, make sure it has the proper things in it, and be intentional about it, right? And exactly what we call the document is not that important. Yes, Robin, it defines the terms, right? It's more about the substance of what the document has rather than what we call it. A mutual understanding. Yeah, Bob, I like that. Very good. Mutual understanding, or sometimes I use the term meeting of the minds, is what we're looking for. Making sure we're all on the same page. So what about our second mistake here? Is thinking that contract language is complicated. Now, there certainly is a time and place for complicated legalese. Right? I've written contracts in the 50 to 100 page range that are extremely complicated and full of highly precise legalese. But that's when we're talking about multi-million-dollar business deals between represented parties on all sides. Both sides have a team of attorneys. There's tons of money going back and forth. You know, we're trying to think of all the possible circumstances. There is a time and place for that, and that's fine. And I enjoy writing those things because it's kind of an intellectual puzzle and challenge for me. But your agreements with your clients are not the time and place for that complicated legalese. Your program terms, your one-on-one client contracts, your mastermind agreements, your group agreements, you know, those are not the time and place for complicated legalese. So the real secret there is just to try and use your own words and make it simple and understandable. Say what you mean what you say, use your words. Don't try and overcomplicate it. Don't try and write it maybe the way you think an attorney would sound. None of that is required. Your clients are paying to hear your voice, not somebody else's, not mine, not a pretend attorney's voice. So use your own words because you're going to understand it, which is obviously pretty important. Your clients are going to understand it because they're used to your words and your voice. And coming from you, it's going to help people feel comfortable. And if everybody understands it, then you're much less likely to end up in trouble down the line, right? If everybody knows what they're getting into, everybody feels good about it, and it feels like they're doing this voluntarily. Nobody feels like they're being hit over the head with a hammer, and nobody's surprised later on because they know what they're getting into up front. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think with the right guidance, you could use your own words and write simple client contracts? I know some of you have been working on it. Does it sound possibly doable? Yeah, Bob, the response you get helps you understand the meaning, right? That's why it's great to get together in, you know, group settings and workshops and have people go through it with you. We always know what we mean when we're writing it. We don't know how other people are going to receive it. It helps to have other people look it over and get that feedback. It's going to help us understand how different people see it. We all see things through a different lens, right? We don't truly understand other people. All right.
Ian, that brought to mind that question that I didn't think of before I wrote that was, can you say anything about the process of making sure that you've got an agreement with someone that you have a contract with? In other words, following up and finding out whether they really understand it, that kind of thing. Anything to say about that?
I mean, just giving people the opportunity to ask questions is the main thing you can do.
Yeah.
You know, once you've had people agree to it through some mechanism, maybe they've signed it with these old things called pens that we used to use in the old times. You know, maybe they used an electronic system, DocuSign or JotForm. Maybe they've checked the box that said they agree to the terms, whatever mechanism you use. It never hurts to follow up with people, right? I'm constantly following up with people, especially on one-on-one work, to give them a chance to ask questions about the agreement. You know, because I want to make sure they're okay with it. I don't want people to be surprised later on by something that's in there. That's not cool. I want them to feel good about it. You know, so just being generous, giving people the chance to ask questions and then answering them to the best of your ability is my basic recommendation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. So another mistake we often think is, I can't do this. This legal stuff is too complicated, right? We just have to pay someone else to do it. And again, there are times when you do have to pay someone else to do it because it does get complicated and tricky, and that's okay. right? That's what people like me are here for. It's what I do in my legal practice, is write the more complicated stuff. But a lot of it comes not from how complicated the document itself is or needs to be. It just comes from a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of fear, and a little bit of lack of knowledge, fear of the unknown. And it's okay to say, I don't know. And it's okay to say, I don't know what I don't know, but I'm going to get some guidance and learn, and I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm going to push through the fear and anxiety. I mean, fear and anxiety in the law, like anything else, stops us from doing stuff that we're capable of doing. Remember, we're descended from the scariest of the scaredy cats out there. Fear has been a survival mechanism in our DNA. It kept our ancestors alive. It meant that they ran away from the tiger rather than going up to say, hi, Mr. Tiger, how are you today? Right? It kept people from jumping off the cliff instead of just jumping off to see what would happen. Fear kept us alive. And so we still feel it today, even though we're not in life-threatening situations. And so a lot of it is just realizing this is our own fear and anxiety, and just pushing through and giving it a shot anyway, gaining confidence. Practice, 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 right? What's the old joke about how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. You give it a shot, you try it, you improve, and you keep moving. So you can do this. And it's okay to ask questions, and it's okay to get guidance. You don't have to do it on your own, right? So some tips for giving it a try. Again, just use plain everyday language. Plain words, everyday words. You don't have to use $5 words or $10 words. Don't try to write it in legalese. Legalese has a use and a purpose and a reason, but your everyday contracts are not the place for it. Keep it short and sweet. If 2 sentences will do, then use 2 sentences instead of 2 paragraphs. If you can say it in 2 words instead of 2 sentences, then use 2 words, right? Keep it short and sweet. And just say what you mean. And this can be hard sometimes, right? Sometimes we're still trying to figure out what we do mean, but that's why you kind of revise it and edit it and have other people look at it. But say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't beat around the bush. Don't try to use doublespeak. Don't try to hide the ball. If you mean something, just say it. And then if people have questions, you can answer the questions. And get guidance, right? That's why me and a handful of other attorneys do what we do. We try to give you guys opportunities to get guidance on doing this, where you can get real-time feedback from us, do it in a group setting, learn which provisions have to go in there and how you might word them and how you might order them and organize them. Get some guidance. And it's okay to get help, right? We're always looking for help. Our clients come to us for help in areas where they're not the experts, right? So it's okay to get help. So are you guys willing to give that a shot? It sounds like from some of your earlier comments that you guys are. You guys feel like you can do this?
Yep.
All right. Good, 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 good. Yes, yep, yes. Good. This is all totally doable stuff, right? Now, would you guys love it if I gave you a cheap, simple template that you can use for all your contract needs? Pat's saying no, I think because she's heard me talk about this before.
It ain't no one size fits all anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it would be great. Some of you saying, yeah, absolutely right. It would be great if that existed, right? If I had a cheap, simple template that you could use for everything, that would be the best, right? But I don't do that because it doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a cheap, simple template that fits all your contract needs. And there are people out there who are trying to sell you that. To me, that's a red flag, because that's just not how the law works. That's never been how the law works. It's never going to be how the law works, right? So over reliance on templates, yeah, sometimes you're right, Robin. Sometimes you can tweak it as a starter, but then where you go from there, it's not clear. May not be that cheap. The gray areas get confusing. That's right, Clemmy. So over reliance on templates has been a mistake that a lot of folks are thinking, because they think writing contracts is too hard. because it raises some anxiety and fear of the unknown, because they're not sure what to do, because they don't know where to get the guidance. People very naturally look for other easy solutions, right? It's a natural thing to do, is to look for other easy solutions. But templates are just not the easy solution they seem to be. Right? They're just not. Trouble we have with templates. The law and your business and your clients are all fact-specific issues. And templates ultimately are one-size-fits-all solutions to fact-specific problems. Right? They're one-size-fits-all, but one size doesn't always fit all. They often, and this really bothers me, a lot of the templates out there that people are selling are overly complicated in how they're worded. They contain unnecessarily complicated legalese that doesn't sound like you, doesn't sound like your voice, and it's something your clients may have a hard time understanding, and it's going to confuse them when they see stuff. Diane, yeah, checklists are helpful. Having templates doesn't help you understand what you're doing, right? So not only are they things your clients might not understand, but do you really understand everything in the template? The problem with the template is it doesn't educate you on anything. It's like Mad Libs, right? You guys remember the old Mad Libs from when we were kids, where you would fill in the blanks and write the stuff and it comes out silly? I have seen some folks use some templates and have it come out looking really silly because they're just filling in blanks and they don't really understand what it is that we're getting at with all the different contractual provisions and how they work and how they apply and how they can be customized to your business, right? So you don't get the education. So then what's next for you guys, right? If those are not the solutions, because you're going to have your contracts in your business, and that's going to include, like we said, lots of things that are just synonym for contracts. You got your contracts, your program terms, one-on-one client contracts. Maybe you're doing a mastermind or something like that. Maybe you have content providers who are coming in, affiliate agreements, different stuff. The thing is, though, a lot of these are going to have common essential terms. And the more you build up your little toolbox full of pieces and contract tools, the more you're going to be able to then customize and keep building more and different contracts for your business. And this is why I do my Create Your Contract workshop. This is part of my second Saturday workshop series, which is the second Saturday of every month. The contract one generally is one of the most popular ones because of how hands-on and necessary and useful and practical it is. It's a one-day workshop. It's very focused on taking action and getting it done. We all need to get that contract written or bring our existing contract in terms and improve it and make sure it's working for us and that it reads well. And so it's very focused on getting something done. We have small group breakout time. So we actually sit there and we have individual workshopping time where you take a few minutes, we learn about a contract term, then you go write it, and then you get together in small groups and we see how it looks. You read it out so other people can comment on it and give you feedback to make sure it actually says what you think it says. You get to give encouraging feedback to others. And that way you also see how these terms apply in different people's situations. Then we do some real-time feedback for me, we call it the love seat feedback time. You get the recordings of the entire workshop so you can come back and see it. Plus, I know not everybody can stay for the whole day. I know not everybody can make it live. So you get the workshop, the recordings, plenty of Q&A and love seat time. You get printable slides for taking notes and contract outlines that are going to help you organize and understand how you want to put everything together. So if you guys sign up today, you get to have access to the live workshop. It's this Saturday, October 8th. Like I said, it's part of my second Saturday workshop series. So we're already up to the second Saturday in October. You get the slides for taking notes and the contract outlines, ongoing access to the workshop recordings, the benefit of actually taking action, right? I've been loving doing these workshops and my clients seem to like these workshops because as opposed to courses, they're really action focused, right? They're very time effective. We get together for one day, we get it done, and we just make sure that you can get what you need and get that contract written, right? It's very focused on taking action. And then as a bonus, you get the recordings of the Protect Your Program Challenge. So everybody signs up for this workshop this week will get those bonus recordings. I know a lot of folks have been asking for ongoing access to those recordings, and so that's how you can get those as a bonus. Right, so contract templates have been getting ever more expensive I've seen them cost, some of the cheaper ones now are kind of the $1,200 to $1,500 range. Some of the more expensive ones are $2,000 plus. And so it's been crazy to me to see people looking for cheap, easy solutions. And then now these templates, they're not even cheap anymore, right? And they're not even that easy anymore. And you still have to spend time learning them. And then I apologize. I think I saved this slide wrong, so it's a little messed up. But the templates are getting expensive. Hiring an attorneys, at $500 an hour, $600 an hour to draft it gets very expensive. But I want you guys to be able to get in for something that's cost effective with the workshop. So it's not breaking the bank. It's time effective. We're getting together for one day, so it's not taking up weeks and weeks of your time. And you're not having to spend all that time learning to use a template that may or may not ultimately work for you. And it's reliable because you're writing it yourself and you're doing it with guidance, with an attorney, with small group feedback. So you're getting something that's cost effective, time effective, and reliable. And so if you guys want to check it out, you can go to createyourcontract.com. And then it's one payment of $497 or 3 payments of $197 or $177. So it's way less than what people are charging for templates. It's just the one day in and out, get things done. So it's not taking up 6 or 8 weeks of your time learning how to do this stuff. It costs less than 1 hour of hiring an attorney. And you're getting something reliable because you're going to come away with something written in your own words and with feedback from your peers and with feedback from me. So you're getting the right guidance to do it. I can drop the link in the chat. Looking forward to it. Very good. All right. Gina, yes.
Yeah, hi, Ian. I'm just wondering if there would be questions or we'd be able to ask questions related to like a train the trainer kind of contract.
Oh, yeah, totally. Right. Because everybody's going to be working on something that's a little bit different.
Okay.
And so that's one thing I love about the workshop is that you're not only getting your stuff done, but you're also seeing how these contract terms apply to other people whose businesses are not identical to yours. Right. So yeah,
Yeah.
we've had people come and work on stuff like that, where you're sort of, certification type contracts. We'll be able to
Okay.
answer questions like that.
Awesome. Okay,
Mhm.
great. And it starts next Saturday. Yeah.
In 2 days.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Okay, this Saturday. Darn.
Yeah.
Okay. And will you be running it again, do you think, Ian? I can't make it, unfortunately, this Saturday.
I'm not totally sure when it's going to run again. So
Okay.
watch your email. There will be
Okay.
probably a recording only option.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Are we good? All right. Well, thanks so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. Actually, a handful of you are actually signed up, so I'm looking forward to seeing you guys this Saturday. So thanks so much, everybody. I will see you soon.